It's probably about a
lollipop song. I don't know, but that would have occurred by Saturday.
You ready, Keith?
No.
Good.
We'll call this meeting to order. If you'd rise and remove your hats, please, and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay. I will entertain a motion for the meetings from last month's meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes.
I'll second that.
We've got a motion and a second to approve the minutes from May 11th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same. So moved. Ms. Atkins.
All right, so I have the claims for you guys to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve accounts payable on the claim side.
I'll second.
We've got a motion and a second to approve claims. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same. So moved.
All right, then I have request number 11. This is in regards to the wastewater treatment plant. This one is to JPR in the amount of $39,242.50. This is just for their continued work on the project.
I'll make a motion to approve request number 11 in the amount of $39,242.50 to JPR.
Second.
Oops. We've got a motion and a second to approve request number 11 for JPR for $39,242.50. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same. So moved.
All right, and then I have request number 12 in the amount of $6,930 to Baker Tilly. This was in conjunction with things that they had to work through with the bond and the bond closing and all of that from the bond closing in December that spilled into January, so.
I'll make a motion for pay request number 12 for Baker Tilly in the amount of $6,930.
I'll second that.
We've got a motion and a second to approve request number 12 to Baker Tilly for the amount of $6,903. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same. So moved.
And that's all I have for now.
Thank you. Mr. Wagner.
We got a lot to cover tonight.
Great.
Sorry. So,
Ate it late.
fortunately, it's all relatively simple stuff. Ordinance 6-2026, amending the personnel policy. You might remember, because I think we did this, I want to say in April even. Basically, a question was raised about town employees that are members of the volunteer fire department that might leave their employment to go respond to an emergency call. We updated the policy to include police department reserves. I think there are a couple employees that are reserves of the police department. Less likely that they would need to be called out, but we would leave that up to the chief's discretion. If he says we got something going on so bad that we need everybody, we would want those employees to leave as well. So we would just ask that you approve ordinance 6-2026. This does not require a public hearing, so you will approve this basically just on one vote tonight. So
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 6-2026.
I got one question real quick.
yeah.
Does this have to, like, if you have somebody that works for the, helps with the chamber stuff, this has nothing to do with that? I mean, because they leave their job to do some chamber stuff?
No.
Okay.
No. The issue that was raised was, could this be construed as ghost employment?
Okay.
From the discussion that Keith and I and Ms. Atkins had internally was, there's absolutely a public benefit to these guys dropping what they're doing and responding to a fire call. And so we just wanted to make sure that there would never be any accusation. This would count as ghost employee. Now, if they take the fire truck through McDonald's drive-through on the way back, okay, then there's probably a problem. But as long as they're going to the fire call, coming back, going to the police call, coming back, they shouldn't be penalized for that. You know, if they were doing other activities where they were getting other income, you know, basically getting double pay, that's what ghost employment is trying to get. And in this case, you know, I think it's pretty apparent that this serves the taxpayers still. And it frankly saves everyone money because we don't have to have a bigger police department or a paid fire department or a fire territory. It's just good value, I guess, is what we would say. So this has been, I think, an unwritten policy for the longest time. It just needs to be made into a written policy for the protection of the employees.
So I'll second that then.
We've got a motion to pass ordinance 6-2026. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same. So moved.
All right. So I'm passing that one down. We have, looks like 3 copies of this one, if you would just sign each one. And then I have resolution 2026-8A. You might remember getting an email from me right after the last meeting. The county had asked us, said we needed a resolution for this tax abatement for a particular year. They sent us the wrong year. We have got the correct year on this, so it's 2026-8A because we're just amending that one to essentially replace the one that we already did. So this is the correct ordinance, and I would just ask you to approve 2026-8A.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-8A.
Second.
Is it
Sorry.
a resolution or an
It
ordinance?
is a resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry, a resolution. Resolution 2026-8A.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second to approve resolution 2026-8A. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same. So moved.
I have 3 of those there for you. Next, this is resolution 2026-9. Sorry, I gotta make sure I stay up on the minutes during my section. So essentially what this does is, this is amending the allocation area for the Army Ditch TIF district. So essentially this is adding some properties into it. This is not for the generation or the collection of additional TIF dollars. This is just basically helping define where money can be spent. There will be an amendment to the area that's generating the TIF dollars to capture what is going on Destiny Drive with the Digger Specialties expansion. But that is not a part of this. This is just basically adding in some of the areas. Some of it's related to the READY application or the READY project. Some of it's related to the Ribbon Village shops. Basically, it's just expanding the area where TIF dollars can be used. So that is resolution 2026-9.
I'll make a motion for resolution 2026-9.
I'll second. We've got a motion and a second to approve resolution 2026-9. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same. So moved.
Okay. So there's 2 of those. If we get those executed as well. And then the last one that I have is resolution 2026-10. This involves another tax abatement issue. Keith can speak to this a little bit. I got the resolution number wrong, so I'm going to replace the front page on this before the final one gets submitted to Ms. Atkins. But essentially, Hardwood Interior Designs came in and applied for a standard abatement for some new equipment they were acquiring. And essentially the time period for it, they submitted it on March 20th of 25 or 24. And then the time period ran beginning March 21 of 25 or 24 through 2025. The problem was there were some supply chain issues and their equipment did not get delivered. It wasn't even in their possession until October of 25. So essentially, in order for them to get the abatement, that equipment needed to be in there and installed before March 21 and 25. They weren't even close, but for circumstances that they couldn't really control. Keith has talked to the gentleman. I spoke to him just a little bit. I think he's had longer conversations with Keith. He was very forthcoming. Really, his hands were tied. Keith, anything you want to report about their compliance, I guess?
So I have a compliance form for personal property and for real estate both, but the important numbers that I see on this is 80 jobs retained, 30 jobs created with total salaries with the 30 jobs, 5.5 million of employment in our community, so that's pretty awesome. But I have the compliance forms for Mike to sign, and Tony has the resolution.
So essentially on this one, our understanding is that they actually created more jobs than they had originally promised to get the abatement. And under the circumstances, we found it credible that this wasn't something that was on their fault. It was just kind of at the mercy of the current economy. So we'd ask you to approve this amendment so they can get their abatement. We've talked about it with the assessor's office. They actually contacted us and said this is what you would need to do. They're prepared for it. If we get it approved at tonight's meeting, they're in the middle of some review that they do regularly, so this is ready to be processed by them. The timing works out just fine.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-10.
Second.
So we've got a motion and a second to approve resolution 2026-10. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. So moved.
You pass this down to Mike?
Yep.
Two different places, Mike. Those two.
I think that's all I have for you unless you had any questions for me.
That's
Other
it.
than, don't forget executive session after the meeting tonight. So,
Thank you. Do you want these back or do you want these going this way? Pass those down to Megan. Thank you. New business, I don't believe there's anything for new business tonight. Old business, I have on here that Mr. Jensen with the History Center would like to know if the town would help pay for the American 250 banner to hang up town. I think we all kind of spoke on this through a text message and there's no objections to that. Do we know about what that banner costs?
No,
I mean, it's
sure.
probably the same as what our other
About
ones cost.
800.
Okay, are we prepared to take care of the whole 800?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. All right, system development charges to be discussed.
That was the Baker Tilly thing, because David and Brian weren't here, that's what they came about, I just don't want us to forget about it, potentially for water and wastewater. A proposal to look into that, to see what that would cost they presented on it last time they were here. If a business would,
well, I think this was a proposal just to pay them to do the work,
correct.
the kind of the rate analysis of
Yes.
it. You're not approving the system development charge yet.
Yeah.
They're just saying this is what it would cost for us to do that work.
So just don't want to forget about it. It's in the
Okay.
Dropbox, we can discuss it later.
All right.
If you have any questions on it, yeah.
All right. Public comment, Randy, BC3, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Awesome, thank you.
I think Megan was kind enough to print out the slides from the solution recommendation and provide those for the board members. And each of you were kind enough earlier, a few months ago, to sit and through one of my long talks about cybersecurity and why we should be doing it and how we're here to try to help Dick Ballmer out with his challenge of overseeing the town's security. I won't go through each slide individually. I know your time is precious. So kind of in summary, what I want to say is that we're here to support him, to give him the additional eyes and ears that he can't provide himself. You know, from what I understand, he's a fantastic technician. He'll continue to fulfill his role locally in this co-managed environment, and we would step in with our team of 800 and backstop him on a 24/7 basis, 365. So we would be available at all hours of the day and night, weekends, holidays, Memorial Day, and Christmas Eve. We'd be there with our eyes to glass, ready to respond to a cyber incident within seconds, not minutes or hours later. I know that there's been some recent attacks just in the past few months. Jackson County, St. Joseph County, and the city of Butler have all had recent cyber incidents here in the state of Indiana. Last year, I think Michigan City suffered an attack. I just talked to a small village in the state of Kentucky that went through a cyber event, about 20 staff personnel, and after 8 hours you have to declare the event to your cyber insurance, you know, per the agreement with the insurance folks. They did so, and the next thing you know, they bring in folks from New York and overseas to mitigate the attack. $300,000 later, they're still dealing with it. So the fallout and the cost of the fallout is quite considerable. What I'm proposing is something less than the cost of one good engineer. A good IT engineer in today's day and age, entry level, like straight out of training, you're looking minimum 40,000 plus bennies. You're probably closer to 60, maybe 80K. And what I'm talking about is right around 60,000. Now we were at about $70,000, but Megan put the squeeze on me, and I came down $10,000 over the course of time because she made some good arguments there. And I'm even throwing in a 1 month abatement, so the first year's effective total cost to be about $56,000. And so that's going to give you your own strategic advisor, your own customer relationship manager that will work intimately with Megan, with Keith, and with Dick on a regular basis to make sure that we're championing the cause of the town and that you're being served in the way that you would expect to be served. And of course, for any reason we're not fulfilling our end of the bargain, there's an easy 30-day out written in that, you know, Anthony would be able to look over and make sure it met all the town's stipulations. So this is a team-based model that's going to give you a proactive relationship from the team of BC3, which is the #1 ranked municipal IT support firm in the nation. We're partners with the National League of City, several other state leagues, and we are Microsoft Tier 1 cloud solution providers, and so we can bring to bear all of that experience in the Microsoft space as well. And lastly, I think we're DSNA partners. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing right now, but we are. And so we can certainly help you navigate any avenues there because we have their ear. And we actually oversee the security for BSNA themselves. So I'm happy to entertain any questions on the slides that I presented, on the talks that we've had, anything like that.
What about all the hardware? Are you going to be responsible for all the hardware, or is that Dick's?
So we would be responsible for all the infrastructure security. So if something, let's say something happened to a server in the middle of the night, that would be on us. We would
But like all their workstations, so you're all the computers, because they're outdated, they're on Windows 10.
Yeah.
I mean, like, all that stuff has to be updated. Is that going to be you, or is that going to be somebody else?
Dick will continue to provide the day-to-day. So if a PC needs to be replaced, Dick would continue to be your person.
Are you going to recommend the equipment, or is it going to be up to Dick to recommend the equipment?
We certainly can. So we have accounts with all the Fortune 500s like Ingram Micro, Tech Data, Cinex, Dell Government, HP Government. So we can, for instance, if the board said, "Hey Dick, you need to provide 3, quotes to me for PCs," we could run out and get all 3 quotes from different vendors and bring them back too.
Because currently we haven't taken advantage of any equipment because we're a municipality.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dick's just buying it off the shelf at Best Buy, and we're paying a premium for it. So
Okay.
I'm really concerned about that part of it, and are we going to be able to be supported on both ends? I mean, so, I mean, I guess that's a concern.
Well, we can certainly, first of all, we can provide holistic support. We can do everything. But it was my understanding that we would want to work along with Dick. And so so we presented the co-managed option. We are capable of doing everything, full support. But it was my understanding that the town would like us to support Dick. But yes, 100%, we can provide, you're going to have a strategic advisor that will sit with you on a regular basis. Probably monthly in the beginning, but no less than quarterly, and have these proactive conversations ahead of time. So we can be talking about inventory, we can be talking about hardware replacement schedules, and we can assist with those, and we can even do them if you wanted to. But if you still wanted Dick to provide the day-to-day support, that we're perfectly happy to support them. So we can do that.
Because that was one of the concerns that was brought up from Jim, was, updating, that was
Right.
day number one, everything needs to be updated. But if Dick's already doing it,
Right.
and he's
This
not
just needs to support
utilizing
him.
programs that could save us money, are we gonna change, or are we gonna just keep doing the same old thing that we've been doing?
I mean, I think.
That's where I brought Adam in, and,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
know there's some mixed discussions on Mr. Seifert, but he's local and he's a, volunteer fireman and, respected person in the community, so I'd definitely like to make sure we're looking at all the
Understood.
different possibilities here, so.
Yeah.
So what do we need to do tonight? Is there a decision that needs to be made tonight? I guess I'll open up to the rest of the board.
Yes, it's
I know
kind of
I've
up to
been
you
spending a
guys
lot
in
of time on this
discussion.
stuff, so
Yes,
you guys
yeah,
can
it's up
answer
to
some,
you guys
ask
and
some
your
questions.
discussion. I mean, Mr. Ballmer has been in lots of discussions with Randy and Keith and I and different things like that. I know the police station is a big, just in general, the things that need to be done, and CJIS is compliant. I mean, that too with Jim coming over, so that's obviously a big point to be worried about, or, make sure we're focusing on that. But yeah, I mean, it would be definitely co-managed, but again, if we didn't want that or need that anymore, then we could bow that out too, so. Yeah.
Okay, because is it currently is the equipment coming from Adam, or is it coming from Dick?
From Dick. And you said it perfectly, Dick will find the best deal. It could be Amazon, could be, one of the Best Buy stores, and but those are just day to day. We'd always have him, we'd also have him, or Adam's been doing some of that work with Dick as well.
Yeah.
I don't think the council's under any gun tonight to make any decision one way or
Okay.
the other, because we've discovered a lot of things with Jim, but.
But we're definitely, you're gonna offer the security from a cyber standpoint, and we still need to figure out that hardware and some of that day-to-day type hands-on stuff.
Right. Which is why we want the co-managed kind of a thing, so in
Right.
that way, but then again,
And we could certainly have a hand in that. In either scenario, whether we were providing all the services or co-managed like we're talking about, you're going to be supplied with a strategic advisor and a customer relationship manager. So a team of 2 that's assigned to the town that would help guide the conversation. We're definitely fans of keeping, things under one roof. In other words, let's find hardware that is suitable for the town and get it rolled out across the town, so that you're not getting anything for about kind of thing from Amazon that might not meet the criteria.
Well, obviously, we want, whether it's your recommendation or we want to make sure we're using the equipment that's going to talk to each other and be safe and not be outdated, and so, okay.
So we would definitely we see it as a partnership.
Okay.
These relationships.
What do you normally see your rates go up every year? Is there a certain percentage that you normally see?
It's actually listed on the very last page under the invoicing. We do a CPI index of 4%. 4%. Just cost of living. Typically 4%. And we don't require contracts to be renegotiated. So once all the contract language is in there. So if that was all agreeable, I could send something to Mike tomorrow for ink to sign, and we could get rolling. But as far as that goes, like say 3 years from now when the contract ran out, it just evergreen until you decide you didn't want it for whatever reason. Our average client relationship is about 11 years. So they stay with us that long. Our backups, by the way, are infinite. So if you're with us for 10, 11, 15 years, your backups will go that far back. Our Microsoft 365 environment, we actually back that up 3 times a day, every day, for that length of time. So, and we have dedicated teams to your backup, making sure that they're mutable, that they can't be overwritten, that they're stored in secure operation centers both in Atlanta, Georgia, and Las Vegas, Nevada. In case there's area-wide disasters, we can actually stand your servers back up into a cloud space. If you had to go to, I don't know, Holiday Inn and create an emergency operations center or something like that, God forbid with a tornado or something like that.
So we're looking at 56,000 for the first year, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we're gonna pull that from,
It would be the general fund.
okay. Split it between utilities and stuff and,
I think we would just do a new appropriation with the general fund,
okay,
because everyone would use it, so how can you just say from the utilities?
yeah.
You know, everybody would have access to this, they would look at everybody's email, they would look at, you know, all those things, so, yeah.
Okay.
Now, do you guys do like a quarterly cyber check where you do like phishing alerts to
Yes.
kind of probe the people?
We do ongoing security training. That'll happen almost from day one. So we have an onboarding team that will come out. They'll set everything up. They'll train all of your end users on how to use our services. We'll set up the security training for you guys. Set up all the backups. Set up all the monitoring. Show Dick how everything works so that he's able to work with us, so that we can work with the same ticketing system to backstop him. That way, when he goes on vacation or has a family event, we can step in on behalf of the town and be more available for you. And then it takes away I always call it the whole hit by the bus syndrome, right? You know, your institutional knowledge doesn't live and die with one person. You've got a team of 800 that's not going anywhere. We're here to stay. So we'd be able to provide, you know, those services. And then as time ticks on, let's say Dick gets to the point where he's ready to hang it up and go fishing, you know, and retire, we could step in full boat at that point, because we'd already have institutional knowledge in place, already be supporting you, and we could just move in. And we're local and national, so I could be bringing support technicians either up from Indianapolis or down from Michigan. You know, I've got towns not far from here that we support. So
One question I have is, I'm not sure if we have this or not, but Ben, you may have it. Can you access your SCADA system via your phone?
No, not the phones.
Matt, can you guys? How does that work with personal devices, like personal cell phones?
Well, if they're town assigned, you know, we can set them up to where they're monitored and managed as well. If it's personal, you know, will it still be monitoring and managing the email, but not what you do on the phone.
Okay.
We would have access to that.
But
But
you'd have another layer of access like Duo or something like that.
exactly,
To go through to do
yeah.
that.
So we'll have like a two-part authentication to get logged in to every,
Exactly.
Okay.
Have to have. If you don't have two-factor authentication, you don't have security.
okay.
You gotta have that, and we'll make sure that's set up for.
Are they gonna get all the awesome videos like Know Before and you know, what do you do when you see this email address? And
Yes,
don't give ATM cards to foreigners and stuff like that. Okay.
We're going to teach you how to avoid the latest social engineering scams, and that's actually ran by a staff of certified CISOs, so certified security officers. What's beautiful about VC3, I used to own my own IT company. I was just like Dick. Okay, I had a team of 3. We grew it to a team of 50. I merged my company with VC3 in November of 2021, and I did it for the reasons that you're citing. I knew that even with a staff of 50 people, I didn't have the warm bodies to take care of people during the most likely time of attack, which is the middle of the night. According to the FBI, statistically, we're most likely to be attacked between like 2:30 and 7 in the morning. And the public sector is the most attacked sector. We covered that in the security brief at the IOMCT. And so, there's 300,000 new attacks today that didn't exist yesterday. There'll be 300,000 more tomorrow. It's too much for any one person to deal with. And any business or municipality that only has a single technician, they just don't have the bandwidth. They can give 100% of his time and do everything perfectly, and still not be able to accomplish the task. And so I knew that as a business owner, and so I stepped away from that and said, I need to be part of a team that can actually do this 24/7. BC3 has dedicated security staff. That's what they do. They don't get involved with help desk tickets. We have dedicated help desk, dedicated field staff, dedicated strategic advisors to work with you. And these advisors, sir, they're experienced. So, they're going to be local, first of all, because we don't want to give you an advisor who doesn't know Indiana politics and the different things that you need to deal with. And they're also going to be experienced. So a lot of these guys have 20, 30 years in the business. And so they'll be able to help guide the conversation. Absolutely.
I think we're already behind as it is right now, so.
Other than your initial wages up front, what do you foresee the town having to invest to get everything brought up to par so that we are protected?
The biggest thing is going to be the MFA, but what will happen is when the onboarding team comes in and sets things up, they'll work with Dick to do an analysis, and you're right, they may find some software or some hardware that needs to be replaced, and they'll discuss that with you guys and create a strategic timeline to get that done. But, we have to work with the town's budget, and we also have to work within the realm of reason, and so Mike might be able to see some of this and go, well, okay, yeah, these are things that we need to do, but we're going to have to do them, at these points in time on the calendar. And then what we'll do is we'll plot those out on a strategic timeline, and then Michael can hold our feet to the fire and say, hey, you said that you were going to do this by this time, and so we would make sure that we were marching to the beat of that drum. So we would do that as a partnership. But as far as initial investment goes, I believe it's right at about 1 month's worth, right? It's so a little under $6,000 for the initial investment, for the one-time fee. That's the setup. That's to get our software rolled out and get the training done. That sort of thing.
So you would send somebody in to assess our equipment situation, and we need to get that figured out before you could really do a ton of software adjustments or installs?
No, we'll be able to do everything that we need to do to get you guys secure during the onboarding session. But what I'm saying is, in addition or above that, we'll also have our onboarding team and our strategic advisor work with you on suggestions down the road, things that we need to consider. And then we'll figure out what's Dick's responsibility, what's our responsibility. Done right, the only thing that Dick's really going to need to worry about is just the day-to-day complaints. Hey, I can't print. Hey, I need, somebody here in the building to move something or set something up. Done right, his job will be easy. And then we'll manage the infrastructure security. So we'll make sure everything's secure, everything's patched, everything's monitored and protected by several sets of eyes, to include our security team and our network operations center. So we're going to have actually 2 groups working through the night, making sure your stuff is safe. And then if anything happens to the infrastructure, that's on us. And it's all you can eat. So in other words, if I have to come out here and work on a server situation, there's no hourly charge for that. We support the network, unlimited in that capacity. And then later, when, let's say, Dick does decide to retire, then we would shift to a full support model where we would also provide the on-the-ground and the remote support in a full, unlimited, all-you-can-eat capacity as well, without any hourly charges or anything like that.
What happens in the unlikely event that we do get hacked? What happens after that? Your portion, our portion?
So, in the event that you get hacked, a lot of things go into motion pretty quickly. So, again, we have certified security officers on staff, so they follow a very strict set of guidelines in getting those issues resolved. They follow NIST, which is the National Institute for Standards and Technologies for Computer Compliance, and CIS, which is the blanking on what CIS means right now, but the Cyber Infrastructure Security, I believe. But those are the 2 golden standards for security in this space, and so they'll follow the guidelines to resolve those. They try to get all that done within 8 hours, because after 8 hours we have to involve your cyber insurance company at that point. And that's also written into our contract language so that it's real clear that we have to pull them out at that point. But we've got a really, really good track record of preventing that. As a matter of fact, Have you ever heard in business, there's this term called the big, hairy, audacious goal? And so BC3's big, hairy, audacious goal is this. We declared it in 2022. You have to meet the goal in 2032, so it's a 10-year goal. It's to have 1 billion, that's with a B, 1 billion protected user days in a decade. Now think about how hard that is to achieve, because every time we bring on a new town or a new city or a new county, we're adding that many more possibilities that we can have a failure. And we're continuing towards that goal. There is nothing in the VC3 playbook that is more important than cybersecurity. We are a security first company. Everything we do is with security first mindset. So much so that if a client chooses not to do something that we know you have to do as a minimum to be secure, we have waivers that people have to sign to say, yes, I know that I'm being unsecure, and knowingly choosing not to do something that could protect us. So we're very, very careful about that sort of thing. And as a result, we're very successful in maintaining a high level of security. Obviously, nothing's foolproof. They asked a Microsoft specialist once, they said, can you make a system so secure that it'll never get hacked? He said, absolutely. He says, but security and user friendliness are inversely related. So I could make it so un-user friendly that you would fire me. So our job is to find the balancing point between the two. So I'm giving you as much security as possible, but I'm also keeping the town running as efficiently as possible. Because really, at the end of the day, we're here as servants to you. It's not our network, it's your network. We're here to serve you. And our mantra is actually serving those who serve others. So we live by that.
It says during a cybersecurity event, you provide 8 hours. What would that cost be approximately after those 8 hours?
So the reason why that's there isn't to say that you would have to start paying something. What that's really saying is after 8 hours, your cyber insurance company kicks in.
Okay.
So that your cyber coverage covers it at that point.
Okay.
But they're also having to bring in their third-party investigators and do all of that stuff.
Okay.
Which really you kind of want to avoid if you can, because now you're starting to get more hands in the cookie jar.
Yeah.
I can't think of an incident where we've had to involve cyber insurance folks that I'm aware of from 21 to today.
Any more questions?
I'm good.
No, I'm good. We good? Okay. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate your time.
Yep.
All right. Proposed gas station petitioners. Anybody have anything to say? Before you start, did you hand these out?
I'm here.
Okay, so there is a notice of public hearing, just so you guys all know, that we are advertising for our modifications to the ordinance when it comes to zoning. So we've got this in place. There's a public hearing on, what date is this?
17th.
17th of June. So in a nutshell, basically right now, if it's zoned a certain way, it's zoned a certain way, you can do what you want. We're changing certain things, which is on this this pamphlet here. Tobacco products, smoking retail store, alcoholic products, convenience store. I think gas station is on here as well.
So essentially what this does is the current zoning for some districts says that a gas station is what I call a permitted use. That means you can do it without having to come in and ask for any kind of permission or anything like that. On the near term, and understand that this is something that we put together fairly quickly, we have like an overhaul of the whole zoning ordinance that's planned. So this was something that we're doing, and then we actually could take another look at it later on, hopefully this fall, as that process moves forward. But in the near term, what this does is it's going to change the gas station uses to essentially the special use exceptions, where you have to come in, still a contemplated use in certain districts, but it doesn't mean that you just get to put it up without having to come in front of the BZA. It creates definitions for gas stations. I don't have a copy of it in front of me, so I'm gonna do this off the top of my head, but it creates definitions for gas stations, essentially dedicated to tobacco retailers, alcohol retailers, and convenience stores. It essentially then imposes also some distance requirements in two settings. Basically, one is relative to each other, how close you can put them together, and then the other one is proximity to the school. And those are not fixed numbers right now. This is what the proposal is. So essentially what is happening is the Plan Commission needs to consider this, this proposal at the meeting on the 17th. They will take public comment from any folks that want to appear and talk about concerns, what they like about it, what they don't like about it. And then they will essentially make a recommendation of one sort or another. So they can recommend these changes to the town council to make an actual amendment to the zoning ordinance to incorporate them. They can not recommend it. They can basically say nothing if they want, okay? The town council can take action that it chooses. They don't have to follow that recommendation. They can kind of make their own choice up or down at a subsequent meeting. But the Plan Commission essentially makes the recommendations about the zoning ordinance. The town council makes the actual amendments to it based on those recommendations, but I should say also their own opinions. We're just not at the phase where the town council has it in front of them yet. So the Plan Commission has it. We're setting that meeting. We have certain notice requirements we have to meet for that. But these, so really, I think any public comments are welcome here tonight. That's great. But I hope you come back for the meeting on the 17th at 5:30. Because that is literally a hearing that is dedicated to this sole issue. So yeah, like I said, public comments welcome now. The town council won't actually take any action though until probably the beginning of July, I think is the timetable, because the Plan Commission has to follow certain steps. This is all just a process that everybody has to do in these situations. So that's what you have right there is literally the notice that's going to be published, sent out for publication in the newspaper. I think we just landed on the hearing date earlier today, so that'll be appearing in the paper. Some concerned property owners are going to get a direct mailing from us saying, okay, we think this affects your property, so you need to be aware that this is going on. So it's worth noting that this doesn't mean that any of the existing businesses are going to have to pick up and move because of this. Basically, they become what's called a legal non-conforming use, and as long as they stay there and that use continues without interruption, basically the local businesses will stay where they are. This is really about potentially new businesses moving in. So, and it doesn't mean that, I want to be clear, it doesn't mean that a new business couldn't come in, that's a gas station, a convenience store, tobacco or alcohol retailer. It just means that they will have to come in front of the BZA to get a variance from these, or from the ordinance. And they may need several actually, because some of them are based on whether they're selling tobacco, whether they're selling alcohol. Some of it's based on gas vents and things like that where the tanks are. So it doesn't mean that these things are an impossibility. We're not straight up banning new gas stations. It just means that they're going to have to go through a little bit more established of a process and hopefully be able to explain what their site designs are, why they think those will be okay for the public, and then the BZA would make a decision. So.
And I'll add one more comment. You all coming up here has been awesome for a couple reasons. One, it's pretty lonely up here most Monday nights when there's no audience. So it's always nice to have something to talk about. And we're up here, we hear your voice. We're doing what we can within our power, right? What doesn't help is speculation, gossip, a bunch of crap on social media. I see it, I read it, I hear it. None of it's true, and all that does is complicate things. So just be our advocates, and if somebody's like, what's going on? Well, hey, you gotta go to the council meeting, or you gotta go to the BZA meeting, or whatever it might be, but unless you hear it from a meeting, I mean, there's so much stuff that's been said, I can't even keep up with it. So I just asked, if you see stuff like that, just please try to have people tone it down a little bit, because it's not really helpful. So what we're trying to do is we're also trying to work with all parties, trying to come up with a resolution that could work for everybody, right? But if you get a bunch of sour people involved and you try to get everybody to get in agreement, we all know what the world looks like today. It doesn't work, right? So let's try to keep it civil and try to keep it, so we can work together to move forward on this. But after that, Mr. Hudson, you have the floor.
All right. We do have 300 more signatures. I don't know who to give this to.
You give those to Ms. Atkins.
Okay. First off, I want to say, and I know you said, try to be positive. I got a question for the town council. How many people live in Bremen? Does anybody know offhand? I really don't.
Like 45, 63.
4,600.
4,600 people. Okay. With the 200 signatures that we just gave you last week and these 300, that represents 500 signatures out of a town of 4,500. And you've got to remember, a lot of those are in our elementary and high school right now, and they really can't sign that. So that shows you the relevancy of how important this issue is with a lot of people. As far as, after you said, Mike, what you said, I'm not going to read this list again because I don't know what's true, what isn't. But what I will say is, I've been in this town since 1966, since I've been kindergarten. I've seen a lot of good businesses and I've seen a lot of bad businesses. The only thing I know is that if you have somebody owning the same property in the same town doing the same thing, that's all I can say. Something isn't right there, and especially if they're that close together. So I do want to hit on some of these, but not all of them, because again, it's hearsay. But I do believe you have residents here that are going to be directly affected. It's going to be in the back door of this place right here. And maybe that's where the zoning comes in. It really does. I know that it's almost too late, but we have to do something because these people are going to live literally right behind this. And that's not fair. And I also know that with the EPA and everything, gas stations can be a problem. They leak. They are a problem. I know one of them had to be completely redone. The EPA made them redo it. I'm not sure if that was Speedway when they opened up again. But we are looking at problems beyond what needs to be done. But the main thing that I want to bring up, and the main thing that's on my heart, is the welfare of our kids. We can't stop kids from buying things because kids are stupid. I was stupid too. But what we can do is if we've already got 2 or 3 of these places in town, we don't need to have more chances and more opportunities for them to buy it at another place, especially that close to the school. One thing that really concerns me is the vaping. And I know we already have stores that sell vaping. Some of you are old enough to remember when the cigarette warnings came back on the cigarettes. Well, everybody kind of said, oh, big deal. No big deal. I'm sure there's some smokers in here right now. We don't know what vaping, the chemicals, there isn't a long-term study on vaping. They don't have it. It's only been around 5 or 6 years. We do not know how it's going to affect the lungs, the esophagus. There is so much stuff that can go wrong. And I just don't want to see the kids of Bremen have to deal with that. As a grown adult, you have the right to drink. You have the right to do whatever you want. But 18 and under, and yes, they're not supposed to have it, but then how come they're getting it at school and they're having it taken away? They're getting it from someplace. And that's what's got to stop. Either these places are selling it, or the people that are buying it are selling it to the kids. Either way, it's wrong. It's bad, and it's got to stop. So, some of the things that you brought up, I understand. I will want to commend a couple. Belmart. You go into Belmart, you buy gas. Yes, there's some unhealthy things in there that I probably wouldn't buy, but for the most part, they're not going to kill my kids. They're not going to kill my grandkids. We've already got businesses here in this town that are looking out for our kids. Woody's Supermarket. Kids go to there for lunch. We have open lunches. They can go there and get some food. These places here that are opening, we've already got them. So I know, Tony, we can't control what's already coming in, but I really, really want to, that's why these signatures are so important. You've already got more than 10% of this town signed petitions against this. And that's not even counting the elementary and high school kids that are counted as well. So you've got more than enough signatures already to show you how strongly people feel about this. So I just wanted to leave that with you, and thank you for your time.
Thanks. Anyone else? All right. Okay, Mr. Brain.
So mine looks long, but it shouldn't take long. I've got one new tax abatement and a few CF1s. So Resolution 2026-8 is a new tax abatement for Universal Bearings. As I look at the documents that they provided, this will be for a 5-year abatement. They have 275 employees. They'll be retaining those. The salaries they pay are $17.649 million, and they're adding an estimated value of $6.1 million to their facility. And we've got, this is for personal property, but I need to pass a resolution 2026-8.
We should amend that to Resolution 11. 2026-8 was used, and I also, Sean's thing got in there for 9, and I used 10, so we'll call it 11. So just to make your motion to approve it as amended.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-8 amended to the 11.
You can abstain.
I'm going to abstain.
Yep.
You have a second?
Want to say I'll second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2026-11
Yes.
for the abatement. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed the same. Let the record show that Mr. Miller abstained. Thank you.
So I have that resolution for Mike and Megan to sign, and looks like 2 other CF1s. I have a single compliance form for Bremen Solar Array that needs Mike's signature. This looks like a pile, but it's just, I think it's 5 different copies of the same CF1 for Protect Panel and Truss Manufacturing. This is for real estate tax abatement. There's 6 copies there for Mike, please.
You want these back or is, he goes,
Yeah, thank you. We'll get them in a minute.
That's all I have.
thank you. Chief?
Absolutely nothing except for the fireman festival's coming up in June, June 9th through 13th, so retail tickets are out. That's all I got.
Romantic date?
Nothing tonight, got my report, thank you.
Chief?
The only thing I got, you might be interested in, is I purchased an e-bike for the bike program for the police department. So especially with the bike trail or the walking trail, whatever you wanna call it's gonna be coming in. We're gonna have a difficult time kind of patrolling that, keeping an eye on it, so. I have several officers that are interested in it. We also took one of our old pedal bikes and took it out to a local bike shop for that, so we'll actually have two bikes.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's it.
Question, and maybe this is something you could follow up with Mr. Main on at the park. We've got the walking trails. They're non-motorized vehicles. Is an electric bike or a scooter permitted on those? Golf carts are not.
That
So-
hasn't been discussed yet, but
Just to
like I said, it's gonna be
to clarify,
difficult to keep an eye on it. That's why I restarted the bike program.
I know you posted about bikes are
Well-
the same as scooters or something like that.
Right. So, I am actually working on a proposed ordinance that I'll get to you guys here in the near future. I would like to have you approve it yet this summer, but I think the best time to implement some of the changes, some of the stuff I think you're gonna need to discuss first, but have Officer Atkins really do outreach through the school, at the school, to educate kids. There's been a flurry of activity. This is kind of occupying the entire state and everybody's attention. The thing you have to understand is, I think if it's a class 2 and 3, e-bikes, e-scooters can go wherever a bike can go. They're legally treated like a bike,
And that's
according to the state.
28 miles per hour or no? What is that?
Well, there's some, it depends on if it has pedal assist or not. I have to get out my little sheet
Yeah.
that I have. But some folks, just like the golf carts, they can be modified. I have seen some just driving around, and since I've been at my new location, there are some kids I'm pretty sure who have just straight up e-motorcycles. So they are not bikes.
Correct.
They need to be treated as such. I believe you have to be over 15 to operate them.
And then they
Some
have
things
to
like
be
that.
plated and stuff if they're considered.
I don't know all the requirements off the top of my head, but some of the things I'm looking at is like very specific, like essentially ordinance violations that you can write for riding bikes dangerously around pedestrians and some things like that. So the complaints that I have seen, both directly to me and from other communities, that the attorneys around the state are talking about kids blowing through stop signs and stuff like that. That's an education issue. It's already against the law. You can get a ticket for that as it is. So what we're doing with the ordinance really isn't going to change that. That's why I think anything that you do, there has to be an education component, just to get kids and as best you can and parents to just be aware of the risks. I have to admit, I've seen more helmets this year than I have, which is a great change. But yeah, that defensive driving mentality that you need to have when you're in any vehicle, but especially when you're in anything that's smaller than a car, it definitely needs some work. And I don't think that's unique to Greenman. I think that's everywhere.
Yeah.
So
I would attest to that too. That's been like on the listserv, our clerk treasurer thing every other day. It's like, who's got an ordinance for e-bikes? Who's got an ordinance for scooters? You know, so it is definitely becoming, more prevalent around the state. So for sure.
So that's something that'll come down the pike soon. But we'll want to make sure the police department is involved in that conversation even before probably the first draft rolls out. So
Thank you. Thank you. Henry?
Nothing tonight.
Matt?
No.
Ben?
My report, that's it.
How's your lights coming?
Another week, we should get the controls in, so we'll start getting the underground put in, and then we'll follow it up, figure in the bases, and set the poles, and hoping to have it up and going before the season starts.
All right.
So-
For those of you who don't know, we are going to have lights at our soccer field. Electric department. So we'll be able to host night games and playoffs and help our program. So, all right.
Ben, what type of pole is that you're putting up?
Must go, they're just like the football field.
Okay, they're not the old wooden poles.
No.
They're all state approved, so we can do a sectional.
It meets IHSA.
Okay,
requirements.
okay.
I'll make a motion to accept department head reports.
I'll second that.
We've got a motion and a second to approve department reports. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. So moved. Dan, you're up.
All right, thanks. Just got a quick update tonight.
let you guys know on progress on the wastewater plant. The Thieneman crews are continuing excavation and setting H piles for the influent pump station. They're fighting some water infiltration there, so things have kind of been progressing slower than they'd hoped. However, the crew working on the buildings out there is they're really putting the pedal to the metal. They've got framing on both buildings done, and the control building's got siding and a roof up. So if you haven't been out that way and seen it, it looks pretty different now. For Call 2025-1 community crossings, that work's scheduled to be performed starting in June, and we'll prepare those closeout docks after things are completed. For Call 2026 on Bowen Avenue, Moab's anticipated today, I believe. I'm not sure whether that occurred or not.
It's blocked.
And I think tree removal should have already occurred by this point. Okay. With respect to the Ready project and Stock Street, I got word today before I left the office for this meeting that we'll be submitting permits to the town for your guys' review by tomorrow morning. So those permit applications are completed and ready for review. And then finally on the zoning ordinance update, we've indicated Ken to submit DORA. Angela in our office is going to get a map prepared so that a legal description of the DORA can be prepared. So that's all I got.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Town council comments.
I have one question. Trent, and I don't know this answer, I haven't heard it yet. Are we gonna replace the K9 or no?
Not at this time.
Okay.
I'm more than happy to. Being a prior K-9 handler is an incredible responsibility. So I am not seeking out an officer, making them feel obligated. I want an officer to come to me
Perfect.
that wants to take on that responsibility. And I am not having
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thanks. I'm good. Mr. Bailey?
I'm good.
Mr. Daly?
Yep.
The only thing I have is we are doing a Corvilla golf cart and UTV poker run on Saturday, June 13th, the last day of the fireworks festival. So I posted something on Facebook, and everybody should be seeing something. It's just awareness for Corvilla. A lot of people don't even know that we have a Corvilla here in town. So more to come. So that's it. I'll entertain a motion to.
I have one more thing that I can't believe I forgot, but if you guys look at the downtown planters,
Oh yeah.
the flowers, the four corners, it was like all hands on deck. Tara took the lead. She, Melinda, and Austin went to a flower auction. There's such a thing as a flower auction. And fought the rain, brought back a huge trailer full, and they went and bought some more, got some ideas from Trent's mom, helped with some thoughts on the downtown planters, but Our Lady dropped the ball on us. We had her lined up for last year, and she just come up MIA, and we just went, let's do it ourselves. And it just, again, I've said it before to this council, some of our teams will do this every now and then, but when it comes down to it, all I gotta do is say, hey, we need some help. It's all hands on deck. Everybody had a piece in it. And if you look at the Bremen Village Shops location, everybody, all our people had some part in that. And rearranged schedules, some emergencies, things that they jumped in. It's just kind of neat being part of that and seeing that, and we're very proud of them.
For sure. The Bremen Village Shops will be one of the stops for Poker Run. So, all right, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Good.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. We are adjourned.
These are just the two requests, they just require your signature.
Yes, actually, I think way off my mind. So,